I was in a national health clinic in London, and an amiable girl with a mass of brown hair and a foreign accent had tested me for deafness. "You are quite well, but with regard to your hearing, you are broken piano." She looked to see if this had any disquieting effect upon me, and then reeled off the hazards of old age. Finally, she wrote down the day and the date on which I could come and collect the 2 hearing aids, which I dutifully did, but I have failed to use them. They slipped like little ball bearings into the cavity of the inner ear, and retrieving them is nigh impossible. So they are back in the brown envelope in which they came. But at home that day, the garden was waiting. The second flowering of the roses washed, pink and blousy, but beautiful. And the massed leaves on the 3 fig trees were a ripple as birds darted in and out, chasing each other, half in courtship and half in combat, as it always is. Broken piano, in all its connotations, kept saying itself to me. And yet I thought of life's many bounties, to have known the extremities of joy and sorrow, love, crossed love, and unrequited love, success and failure, fame and slaughter, to have read in the newspapers that as a writer I was past my sell date, and moreover a bargain basement Molly Bloom. Yet, regardless, to go on writing and reading, to be lucky enough to be able to immerse myself in those 2 intensities that have buttressed my whole life. I got out a cookery book from Ballymaloe House in County Cork, where I'd stayed, and partook of delicacies such as nettle soup and Carrageen moss soufflé. And it was there I had seen for the first time and been astonished by the paintings of Jack Yeats, thick palettes of curdle blues that spoke to me as deeply of Ireland as any poem or any fragment of prose could. I looked up the recipe for soda bread and did something I had not done in 30-odd years. I made bread, broken piano or not. I felt very alive, as the smell of the baking bread filled the kitchen. It was an old smell, the begetter of many a memory. And so on that day in August, in my 78th year, I sat down to begin the memoir which I swore I would never write. The 2 dreams could not be more contrasting. In one, I am walking up the avenue towards Drewsborough, the house I was born in, and it is a veritable temple. The gold light on the window panes rivering, the rooms flooded in a warm pink light as for a feasting within, and along the paling, torches of flame, furling and unfurling. And as I slid the hasp of the gate and walked towards the hall door, I see a line of men in livery, soldiers, the tips of their spears red hot through and through, as if they'd been just pulled out of fire. These are hard men, and they bar the way. In the second dream, I am in the house, in the blue room where I was born, doors and windows all locked, and even the space under the door, where motes of dust used to sidle, is sealed with some kind of wadding. The furniture is, as it was, a double wardrobe of walnut with matching dressing table. There's a slop bucket in green with the plaited basket button. I am there alone and incarcerated. All the others have died, and I am there to answer for my crimes. It matters not that all my interrogators are dead. It seems to me that I saw things before I actually saw them. They were always there. The way I believe that the words are always there, whispering and coursing through us. I think, for instance, that I recognized the blue walls of the blue room, walls weeping quietly away with endless damp and no fire, even though there was a fire grate, in which a lid of a chocolate box had been laid as an ornament, and Our Lady. She was not the sallow creature in paintings that I would come to see on different walls, but a buxom woman, Our Lady of Limerick, with infants around her, as though she had just given birth to them. Her accouchement was far happier than that of my mother, who would talk of it down the years, her labor, her long labor, the night in December, and the black frost that was usual for that time of year. My father and his brother Jack were downstairs drinking, and on being told the good news, they staggered up, bringing strips of goose, which they had just cooked, it being close to Christmas. And in my mother's telling of it, the goose was half cooked, and Jack gave a rendering of Red River Valley. Come and sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. Just remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy who loved you so true. Such is the ragbag of anecdote, hearsay, allegory, fable, and consternation that filled the canvas of my early life, at once beautiful and frightening and tender and, yes, savage.